Okay, so what does a typical resupply look like for me? And this is a resupply based on starting out when I don't have a lot of hiker hunger yet. For me, it took about 3 weeks before the hiker hunger kicked in, and I ended up carrying a lot of food for way too long. So, so for me, this is a 5-day resupply, and it's assuming that I'm coming out of a hostel where I probably had breakfast of some kind, and I will probably pull into a resupply and stay the night in town where I'll get dinner. So that means 4 breakfasts, 5 lunches, and 4 dinners. Now sometimes I will carry an extra dinner just in case it's taken me a little longer. That happened after I left Damascus. The mileage that I was trying to get just didn't quite I couldn't quite get there, and I ended up spending an extra day on the trail, and I was glad I had just an extra meal to give me a few extra calories. Okay, so when it comes to oatmeal, honestly, I've tried all sorts of different kinds, and I will eat 2 packets of peaches and cream, or strawberries and cream, or blueberries and cream, but I like the stuff that's got basically it's just coffee creamer in it. And I could eat these. You can put water right in the packet and eat it, so you don't have to create a mess. Do them one at a time. I'm okay with eating them cold. I like cold oatmeal. Don't have to heat them up at all. So if it's one of those starting to get warm out and you don't necessarily want to have a hot breakfast, I'm okay with doing it cold. I like salami over pepperoni, but a variation of that is to have some of those pepperoni sticks. The pepperoni that you can buy that you put on pizza, you know, it's in a kind of a big puffy bag, that tended to be a lot of pepperoni. So now this salami, this particular 5-ounce package is a little bit more than I sometimes would find on the trail. You can find some of the little higher priced deli salami, the Genoa salami, that's not quite as much. And so I've got 2 of those. I got 3 spams for the 5 lunches. Now, why not tuna fish? Well, when you do the tuna fish, you gotta make sure you get the stuff with the oil in it, because that's about 150 calories for the same weight as the spam. Thing is, that gives you 150 calories. This spam gives me 210 calories for the same weight, and fat. And you know, I'm a little bit more of a portly guy. I want to teach my body to burn fat. I lost 60 pounds in the 900 miles I hiked last year. Unfortunately, I gained it all back, so I've got to redo that again and then figure out how to not have it come back once I get off the trail. But I actually enjoyed the spam, and eventually, as things go along, I will add tortillas in for some more extra carbs, and I'll just turn them into, make a little ham sandwich out of it. Some sort of granola bar I like. Now they tend to be, they're lightweight, but they're also kind of dry. So I would typically eat those when I would stop at a water break, so I had extra water to drink. These Gatorade protein bars and fuel bars are actually they're great. They're lighter weight for what you're getting. Eventually, as the hunger hiker kicks in, I'll kick in some Snickers bars, but at the beginning of the trail, I didn't want them, not until that hiker hunger kicked in. And then some sort of a little, just some candy. These little things are like little gummy bears from Gatorade, about 100 calories in one of those sticks. I will take that packaging off of it though when I get ready to pack it into a food bag. The beef jerky, same thing. I'll take it out of that heavy pouch and I'll put it in just a regular Ziploc bag. And I'll keep the little oxygen absorber in with it, just to kind of help it out a little bit. Now, for dinners, I kind of like the Idaho potatoes. I went through pasta sides, I went through rice sides. Between the rice side and the pasta sides, I tended to favor the rice sides. But you know what? The potatoes are fast. You boil the water. You know, 3 minutes are ready to go once the water boils. You can do it in a Ziploc bag. I will take these before I put them on my food bag, and I'll take one of these, just these quart freezer Ziploc bags, and I'll transfer the contents to it. it packs down a little bit better in a food bag for bulk. I might write on what they are, but sometimes I just like, you know, hey, it's just going to be a guess tonight what I'm going to get. Now, I put Spam with it. When you tear off the front top of the Spam, believe it or not, it is sturdy enough. You can use it as a little knife to cut up your Spam into cubes, so you don't have to get your pocket knife dirty. And I will usually sometimes I'll throw that in the water. I'll throw it right into the Ziploc bag, just to give it some protein and some fat in there. And there's some other variations that I'll do that I'll talk about in a minute here. Hot chocolate was nice, but I discovered that, you know what, you can take these breakfast essentials, Carnation instant breakfasts, and you can actually heat the water up and have those hot. It's a little bit thicker than a hot chocolate, but you're also getting vitamins and minerals in it. So that's one of the things I kind of liked. And so that's especially for starting out, that's plenty of food, because I won't have my hiker hunger yet. Now let me stop this, and I'll put some variations up on the table. Okay, once the hiker hunger kicks in, and a lot of times you have to be where you can get to a regular grocery store to find this Nido milk. This Nido milk is made by Nestle, and it's whole milk, where the Carnation milk that you can get is a skim milk, and I think it's just nasty. Plus, there's nothing in it for the weight that you're carrying. 2 tablespoons of this has got about 120 calories, I think, and it actually tastes like real milk, especially with a little bit of cold water. And I'll get a package of granola. That technically is 10 servings, but it's only a 1/4 cup, which is, they do that to keep the calorie down. For me, there's about 4, if I was just eating granola, there's about 3 breakfasts in that bag. Okay, I mean that's only 3/4 of a cup of granola. If I can make that go 4 if I augment it with something like cranberries. And so I will take I will a lot of the times I leave the granola either in the bag like that, or I will put it into 4 Ziploc bags, and I'll go ahead and put the milk in with it. And same thing with the cranberries. I'll put the cranberries either in its own separate bag, or I'll go ahead and mix them in now too. Now that Nido milk, that's a lot of milk. Okay, you know, using 2 tablespoons at a time. So typically I will take that, transfer it into a gallon Ziploc bag, and then when I'm doing my dinners, my Idaho potatoes, or even like if I get like a pasta side or something like that, I will throw a couple of tablespoons of milk in it. That boosts up about another 100 calories, and it actually helps it taste a little bit better. Also, once the hiker hunger kicks in, I will get some butter at the store, leave it in a Ziploc bag, and I will take and put a tablespoon of butter, even though Idaho potatoes don't require it, and the milk in there, and make it extra rich. All right. Also for breakfast, sometimes you can come across these. If these are not quite enough for you once the hiker hunger kicks in to eat 2 of those, you can get these Quaker proteins, and this one's a banana nut. It's actually got a little bit of milk in it. That's each packet is about 1.5 packets compared to the standard Quaker oats. So if you're a lighter eater and you find out 2 of the standard Quaker oats are too much for you in the morning, then switch down and only eat 1 of these. That's these equal to about maybe 1.5 of the others. If you're really super hungry, then just, you get 2 of them. Just eat 2 of them. They've got some cranberry almond ones. I like the banana nut one best myself. Then we'll see, once the hunger kicks in, and you're going to be carrying extra weight, because that thing weighs a lot. I think I would always pick up the peanut butter in the store, and by the time I got to the cash register, I'd always take it out of the cart, because I'm just like, I don't want to carry it. But once the hunger really kicks in, and they started losing a lot of weight, so especially when I was worried about I was losing too much weight too fast, and I knew I had to go ahead and carry it. I like the with the honey in it, to be honest with you. What's really cool about that little jar, it lasts a long time. I can have a little bit for breakfast. I can have a tablespoon of that for breakfast. I can have a couple tablespoons at lunch. Another great big one when I'm getting my dinner ready at night, and that lasts about 5 days. And it makes a really great trash container once you get done. And once again, I don't have any Snickers bars on the table, but those can get added in. I typically end up having more snacks left over at the end of a 5-day hike. I tend to just get busy and forget to eat them, and it's time for the main meal. These Lara bars are cool. If you are somebody who is very conscious about GMO stuff and chemicals and those kind of things, or you're a vegan, these are pretty good. They're gluten-free. This one's called Cherry Pie, and the ingredients on these things, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, they're all date-based. This one's got almonds, unsweetened cherries. That's it, folks. There's no preservatives. There's nothing bad in there. These are, and they're not very heavy, and they make great snacks. Another dinner idea here is I've gotten these. It's a kind of a dehydrated tortellini. There's different kinds. This one happens to have some spinach in it. You get some with some other flavors, some 4 cheeses. Usually I break them apart into, depending upon the size. This one I did half, and now I look at how much tortellini that is, and that might be a little too much. So maybe you can get 3 meals out of that. I'll buy just some of this Nor bouillon. Each one of those cubes makes 2 cups. So that and 2 cups of water, and you throw that in. You can either cook it until it's tender, or if you're trying to save fuel, you can throw it in a rehydration sleeve. You know, give it about 30 to 40 minutes to rehydrate, and you get I call it tortellini soup, if you will. So anyway, that's some variations that I found that I liked a lot. Okay, what's missing? Ramen noodles. Every now and then I'll have a ramen noodle I'll throw in kind of as an emergency backup. But and if you're not feeling very good, a ramen noodle is really settling. But you have to eat something with it. You cannot do just ramen noodles by themselves and then have enough the next morning to go hike. I just never could. It never could give me enough. So you got to throw something with it. You know, a package of Spam, some tuna fish, have something else with it with the ramen noodle. All right. Hopefully they'll give you some ideas. Okay, a few extra add-on items here. You need to eventually, especially when you start sweating, you definitely need electrolytes. These Gatorade packets are a little bit harder to find on the trail. Matter of fact, whenever I tried to find them, I couldn't find them. But usually, you can come across these Mio electrolytes, and there's 3 or 4 different flavors, and they work pretty well. You just gotta squirt them in. I tended to maybe put less because I used them a lot more. And I think this, for how many servings you get, it's lighter, even though it's a liquid, than going with the Gatorade powder. Just personal opinion there. Hey everybody, just a few more last minute items that I wanted to bring up as possible foods while hiking. I watched a video recently where they talked about hamburger helper. I've tried this a couple of times and have not been able to get the water worked out with it and how much you need. It's always too soupy. So right now I'm down to about using 1/2 of whatever they call for the water, and I still haven't got it to work. So something not to try for the first time on the trail while you're hiking. These builder bars, good source of protein and calories. Especially if you're cold cooking, each of them they're a little bit heavier. I mean that box weighs almost a pound for those bars. I think there's 6 bars. So on the weight wise, they're a little on the heavy side. Great for like I said, if you're cold cooking. I found that I'm type 2 diabetic, so I got to kind of watch my sugars at times, especially starting out when I'm not quite hungry. These little coconut bars make kind of great snacks without jumping my blood sugar up, and these nut rolls remind you of kind of like a Baby Ruth, and just an alternative to think about for those of us out here that are kind of having to watch our sugar at times. Some sort of a tea sometimes at night is good. You can also do these kind of a cold brew. Just put it in the water, put it in your cup, and let it sit while you're cooking dinner or you're setting up your tent. For those who have problems with NSAIDs, like your Motrins and Advils, things like that. Monarch last year, I met her at the Punch Bowl shelter, and then hiked to Browns Creek Gap. I think Browns Creek. shelter right before US 60. And anyway, near Buena Vista, she introduced me to this tea. It's called, it's a holy basil. It tastes pretty good, and it helps with inflammation. And she was taking it for her knees and things like that. So she gave me one. I tried it. I liked it. I've been using it since I've been home. Here's the pepperoni sticks that I mentioned. Comes in a package of 10, kind of on a five meal resupply. That gives you a couple of them at lunchtime. A little bit less volume than buying the packages of pepperoni, but sometimes those packages almost had a little bit too much in it. Now cheeses, sometimes you can't get by without using a block cheese. I tend to not to like getting block cheeses for two reasons. Number one, it's easy for the cheese to get contaminated, and two, when it gets a little bit warm, the oils start coming out of them. Now, as far as refrigeration, I got to tell you, I would carry cheese on a 5-day resupply. They would get a little oily, and then sometimes they get a little smashed, which is kind of why it's nice to have in their own individual packages. The harder the cheese, the better. However, I have used mozzarella, those string cheese sticks, up to 5 days without any problems, without refrigeration. So another reason I like to keep them closed up, that the chance of anything growing is much less in them. And anyway, so cheese is definitely a great addition to snacks and lunchtime, and just wanted to kind of add a few more items of things that I've seen and I've used on the trail. All right, have a great day, everybody. Bye.